Welcome to Eyes and Teeth, Season 4, Edition 4. This season is dedicated to the Grand Order of Water Rats and my brothers. Hiya kids! Would normally be heard through the mouth of today's guest, Mr. Billy Pearce. He's very chuffing talented. A man with awards, sell-out summer shows and pantomimes, and record-breaking resident theatre shows. And a patron of the Yorkshire Children's Trust. He has a look we all recognise. He's still on the stage, doing what he loves to do. Please welcome Billy Pearce. Eyes and Teeth.
Hello, Steve.
Hi, Billy.
It's lovely to talk to you, mate. I know all about you, mate, but we've never actually met, have we?
I met you at a stage door once, because obviously I love what you do. And so I did meet you at a stage door probably about 20 years ago.
Oh, did you? All right, I do. Beg your pudding.
Yeah.
Where was that at the Grand?
I think it was in, was it Oxford? Do you do panto in Oxford? No, it wouldn't have been Oxford.
Bristol?
It was Bristol. Yes, it was Bristol.
That'd be John Inman.
Yes, it was, because I've got a picture with John Inman. And I need to dig yours out. I've got a picture of you somewhere. Oh,
I love John Inman. He was fantastic.
You still have the spiky hair, look.
Yes?
You do. I had that when I was 17. I was working at Barry Island in Wales as a resident entertainer. And I had the spikes and I was nicknamed Sonic Steve at the time. Yeah, I kept all the hair gel companies in business for years.
Yes, well, me and all, but my hair is a bit like that. Anyway, it's not been the same since I pissed on the electric blanket.
When I left Barry Island, I went to get a job at the London Palladium as an usher, and because in the winter there was no work for entertainers, and so we were all in theatres sort of selling programmes and things. But they said you can have the job if you flatten your hair. They didn't like the spikes at all, so I was devastated. Yeah, I got the job because I flattened the hair, and I hated my hair that year.
To be honest, I've just had it cut, but it was right down my shoulders and everything. I thought it was like a dirty protest. But it was doing, honestly, it was doing the head in.
You're a fellow water rat as well, Billy. I was delighted when I saw that, and I know it's difficult to get in from North.
And I am proud of being a water rat, but I do feel guilty. I've done lots of things for him in the past, you know, the charities and stuff, so
yes.
I'm not too bad, really.
Yeah, I know you've been to the Rats Ball, haven't you? And heard you in one of your interviews talking about when you was in the toilets and having a wee between two water rats. Can you just tell us that story?
Yeah, the water rats ball. Well, one was Joe Brown.
Oh, yes.
And the other one was Frankie Vaughan.
Wow. That's a trio.
I couldn't believe it. I just was stood there in a kind of this ethereal world. And I was sat at the top table with John Inman, and of course there was Thora Hurd, who was wonderful.
Wow.
And so I just had this brilliant night with John Inman and Aid Edmondson.
Oh, wow.
And all these lovely people, not Dawn French, but the other lady, I forgot her name.
Jennifer Saunders.
Jennifer Saunders and all those. So I was there, and I went for a wee, and then that happened. And then I came out the toilet, and the man, before I'd gone back to my table, the man came up to me and said, there's a lady over here who would love to meet you. Because I've done this speech, I wrote a poem all about pantomime. Oh,
wow.
But it was about people who were politicians and sports people and all these people that had never been in show business suddenly appearing in pantomime. And I said that the next year Margaret Thatcher was going to be the Wicked Queen, all this sort of thing, in this poem. And it went down a storm. I couldn't believe it. It was really good.
Lovely.
So when I came out the toilet, this man said, could we come and meet somebody? And I went over. And it was Eric Morecambe's wife.
Wow, Joan. Was it Joan?
I met her that once. I didn't know her name, but it was like meeting the Queen.
Oh, that's lovely.
So it was a very. I don't think I've been back since, to be honest. But I'm either working or something's happened.
Yeah, well, pantomime takes over, doesn't it? It's kind of a crucial time when people are in rehearsals for panto, and so it's difficult to get down to the ball on many occasions. I know he celebrated 125 years of the Water Rats in 2014. We was all invited to the Palace, and you were probably in panto at that time. But I went to the toilet, and I had Derek Martin, Charlie Slater from EastEnders on one side, and Tony Christie on the other. And I was like,
oh, right.
And so when I heard you tell this story, I thought this must happen to all water rats. Can you imagine? I bet everyone's got a wee story, about.
We had a brilliant night. It was at some caravan park in the middle of nowhere, somewhere down south.
Okay.
It was a water rats ball. And there was all these famous people, Debbie McGee, and all lovely people. And the end of the night, it was chucking it down with rain, and old ladies were covered in mud, from walking about in the fields where these caravans were. So they were washing their feet in the sink and stuff.
A glamorous night out at the ball.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. Your father was a pianist and your mother was a dance teacher. So did you grow up around the business when you was a kid?
Well, yeah, my mum had a really big dancing school. My dad obviously was a pianist. He couldn't play loads of music. They couldn't play any music without the music. Whereas my mum was the other way around. You'd only got to whistle a tune and she'd be off playing it. And she'd play the piano and teach kids to dance at the same time, so she was a very talented lady.
Wow.
But she used to do all the amateur operatics in Leeds Thespians and all that, got to be careful how you say that, and the Dewsbury Collegians and all these. So because they were always shorter boys, when I was a kid, I used to get roped in because they were always shorter boys. I never told anybody at school. So my first time I was a Siamese twin at the King and I when I was 6 at the Empire Theatre in Leeds, which is now just an arcade.
Oh, wow. So you're the original Billy Elliot, really, not Billy Pearce.
You know about that.
So you had a lot of groundwork around the dancing, really, in an early age, being around that, and music. So I guess show business was sort of building in your head at the time. But then you ended up in Butlins. But that was before you had an accident, didn't you? You had a bike accident.
Yeah, you know about. Well, I was jumping 14 motorbikes in a double-decker bus and somebody rang the bell.
So you gave that up. So that was around the time you were going to be an engineer, weren't you?
Yes, I did start engineering, but I had a scooter, and me and my pal were going into Leeds, and the man turned right, which is what they do to motorbikes.
Yeah.
And he managed to hit us. I sort of swerved. I can't remember any of this. I've been told this. So I swerved to my left to avoid him, and he chopped the scooter in half, and it was going so fast, and my mate, his foot went through the footrest, went right through his foot, and it shattered his right leg completely. He was in hospital longer than me.
Oh, jeez.
I flew into the air and landed on a key left side on my chest, which completely crushed my rib cage through my lungs, and I had to have 2/3 of my liver out and my spleen, and I damaged my kidneys.
Wow.
And then after that, I had an abscess under my liver called a subphrenic abscess. It went on for about 10 years, really. But I've been all right now, but doctors give me some tablets, and I've got to take them for the rest of my life. He's only given me 2.
Oh, bless you. So, do you think this has affected you in your later life, or you're saying that you're okay now and it just took 10 years to get over it?
I've been fine. This COVID thing, obviously, I'm a high-risk person. So
Okay, because of the past problem.
I had to isolate for 12 weeks at first. The gardens never looked as lovely.
We've all found our new vocation, haven't we?
It's just awful.
So how?
What I've always done, and so if you take that away from me, somebody asked me how I felt. I said, I feel like Superman. He said, Superman? I said, yeah, but somebody's got a big block of kryptonite and shoved it down my knickers. So now I'm no longer Superman. I'm just man. I'm just an ordinary.
You're just a man. Oh.
And then right at the beginning, when it was all at first, it was all right. I quite enjoyed having the time off, and because I don't panic. I'm not the most confident of people. So when I go to work, I always make myself ill. I can feel ill. What's it like doing what you do? I said, well, I spend my life basically shitting myself and being relieved because I shit myself going to work, and I'm relieved when I drive home and
I think I feel the same, I always get nervous going up there, and then you are relieved. You've got through another day on stage, but...
Well, part of the act is not looking nervous.
That's interesting.
That's the thing. It's just an act. Sometimes I'm absolutely dying inside. But once I get going, occasions when I've had to hold my microphone with 2 hands because my hands are shaking that much.
Ice and Steve. Did you look up to anyone in the world of comedy? You talked about John Inman, who was an inspiration, but did you have anybody that you were watching at the time when you was like a redcoat at Butlins?
Yeah, they're probably not people that you may have heard of, but there's Johnny Casson.
Oh yeah, I love Johnny. Yeah.
So do I. Mick Miller.
Yes.
They were part of my heroes. Dustin G.
Oh, yeah, of Les Dennis and Justin G, yeah.
Yes, he was a great performer and a good impressionist. Um, those kinds of people. Freddie Starr, of course, when he was at his height, he was just a genius.
Yeah, after his Royal Variety performance, it just shone, didn't he, on that?
I looked at his anarchic way of doing things.
Yes.
And he didn't seem to have a nervous bone in his body, which...
He definitely didn't show it, did he? If he did.
No, I didn't know. Everybody was terrified of him, which I think that was part of his persona, really.
Yeah.
Half the battle is when you're a comic, the people are a bit frightened of you, I think. So I'll meet people in the street and I'll go, are you that comedian, are you? I said, well, I'm not Bobby Dabro. I'm not Duncan Noble. You know what I mean? Billy Pearce, my name's back. That's right, you're a comedian then. So what are you doing in the shop? Well, I'm just getting some toilet roll. Getting some toilet roll. They'll have everything because you're a comic.
Tommy Cooper went through that, didn't he, through his whole life, and people would just laugh. And he said, what you laughing at? Because, and you've been through that because you've got such a lovely persona on stage and, like a cartoon character that you play on there. Is the Billy Pearce off stage, is it completely different to the Billy Pearce on stage?
No, Steve, to be honest with you, mate, when I first started 100 years ago, I was in a couple of double acts. I had one with a lad that went to my mum's dancing school called Beaumont. And he was very talented. He could sing and play guitar and tap dance, which was what I could do. And so we got together. That's when we went to Butlins, and we lasted a couple of years together. And then I got a double act with my girlfriend for a while at the time, and work was coming in, but I didn't want to be. I know this sounds awful, but much as I thought the world of her, I didn't want to spend the rest of my life with her. And so I got her sorted out, and she with another two girls, and they went on the cruise ships, and she finished up living in Australia. So everything was all right. I made sure she was all right before, and then eventually I took the plunge and went on my own, and I was absolutely terrified at first, and I had some really, really bad nights. In fact, I'd been booed off walking on. And, I think I'm kidding.
I shouldn't be laughing because you're probably. Was that because the clubs were really, really rough back then? Were they tough crowds?
Well, it took me a while to find my own persona, but that particular time when I got booed off walking on was I'd done the club up in the northeast I did doing like a whole week up there, 10-day run and whatever you used to do.
Yes.
And stopping digs. And so I went to this one particular club on the Friday, and I had this terrible night. They either loved me or they hated me. So this particular night, they hated me. So I guess this other club then on the Saturday, thinking Saturday's usually a good night because they're dressed up, it's Saturday, they've got a day off tomorrow and they're not working. They're with the wives and all that sort of thing. So they usually a bit more well-behaved sort of thing in them days. But as I got my gear set up, it was up a load of stairs in the concert room, and then when you got to the top of the stairs was the other end of the room, so you can't all your stuff down there. Right. So I got it all set up. I used to get there really early, and I went to the bar for a pint, and I could hear these ladies behind me talking in a strong, thick Geordie accent, but basically saying, no, it's not him. Oh, it was a lot of rubbish, they were crap, and all that. And I suddenly realised they were talking about me, and the club that I'd done on the Friday was like literally round the corner from the club on the Saturday. They went to that club on the Friday and this other one on the Saturday.
Oh, it's both.
So it was like Colin Crompton in the Wheel Tappers and Shunters saying, I know this lad's a load of crap, but give him a chance.
Oh, wow.
So they literally booed me as I walked on. And my opening number, I used to play a lot of banjo as well in the act. I don't take it with me anymore because it's heavy. And, people they want me to do gags. They're not interested in me singing. But I used to open up with The Show Must Go On, the Leo Sayer one. Yeah. So I managed to last the length of the song with them all booing. Baby, oh no, I chose this lovely lad, all of that. So I said, I realise you don't like me. No cheering. I said, well, I don't like you either. And, I'm wasting my time. You've made me realise that money ain't everything, and you're only as good as your audience, and tonight I've been shit. So good night, God bless, and all that. Well, then I had to get my gear out. So I waited till the bingo was on. And the chairs were in lines. not set out for the theatre style. They were in sort of school dinner, to have big long lines.
Oh, yes.
As I walked forwards with the two PA speakers, the gap between the two tables at the front, the people pushed their chairs together so I couldn't get past. So while they're being sorry, I said, excuse me, would you mind if I just stand there? So they shuffled the chairs forward, and as I stepped forward, the next two people did it, and they did it all the way down the room, and then I got all my gear out. I got about 7 or 8 trips.
Blimey, it's like the opposite to Moses, because when you walk through a crowd, they're supposed to like move out the way, but they closed. How frustrating!
No, it was awful. Well,
it's disheartening.
And I set off, and I drove around the corner, and there was like a lay-by in the road, and I pulled over, and I stuck my heart out. It was dreadful. And so then I set off, and I couldn't wait to get home. I thought, I'm going home. And I was doing 100 and something on the A19, and I hit a barn owl. And the poor barn owl, I've never forgotten it. It just exploded in a big cloud of feathers and everything, and it really upset me. So that was one of the...
Wow, how old were you then, Billy?
Oh, it's obviously a long time ago.
Is it teenager or something?
Something like that.
Oh, okay.
I didn't start till I was 20.
Oh, okay.
At Butlins, we used to catch people climbing over the fence and send them back to finish their audits.
That's got a nice ending. I wasn't expecting that twist. That's really sad. But you know what? It's obviously in your blood because you kept going and you got stronger and stronger. And Sheffield was your area of clubland, wasn't it? So in those days, you started to get work. Did you start to see the decline beginning to happen in the clubs where entertainment was concerned, or?
Well, yes, I think you're right there, Steve. When all I ever really wanted to be was a club filler, what you call a club filler. So in those days, because I'm actually from Leeds,
yes,
and so I used to do all the clubs around Leeds, and they were fairly gentle. But the South Yorkshire clubs is a bit like the North East, heavy industry, mines and hard-nosed people.
Yeah.
And you'd have a tough time with them. You could go to places where a round of applause was a tap on the glass with a pen.
Wow. They're just waiting for bingo, aren't they?
Yeah. Then there was a hole in the market by these club fillers, Paul Shane, Marty Kane.
Yes.
All those people that had come out of those South Yorkshire clubs and gone on to better things, which left a hole in the market. So I went to a place called Kimberworth and Wingfield, which is it's gone now, it's like a block of flats like most of them are. That's what I do for a living now, I just go around shutting clubs. And they were hard, and the man said to me, what do you do then? I said, well, I sing and I play guitar and banjo and do comedy. He said, forget the comedy. He said, they don't want that. He said, just sing, play guitar and banjo.
Really?
So I thought, well, I haven't really got long enough. And he said, because we've got the discos that were very, very popular, very good acts as well, the discos, Paul. He used to do impressions and all that. There were 3 of them. They were brilliant.
Right.
And he said, don't do the comedy, we've got the disco on. So I was on first, obviously, and I thought to myself, I'm just going to go out and do what I do. Because I sat down and thought about it, and I thought, I'm going to be struggling. I didn't have enough songs to fill the amount of time that they were asking me to do.
Yes.
So I did my normal thing, and much to my surprise, I absolutely tore the place apart and finished up. The lads asked me to get up, and they got me on stage and included me in the actor bit. And so I was messing about with them, but I never, ever worked with them again.
No.
I can't think why, can you? But that's how it kind of took off then. So all of a sudden I was at one of those club fillers where the doors open at 6 o'clock and people are queuing around the corner to come and see you to get a good seat. And so it kind of took off. And then as time went on, I went on New Faces.
Yes.
So it took me, that were sort of what you did on Britain's Got Talent.
Oh, yes. So you done this in 1986, didn't you?
Yes, I did. And it was very, very nerve-wracking for me. But my career took off because Laurie Munster and people like that took me on. And all of a sudden I found myself doing summer season with Danny LaRue and all that at the clubs. But I always say, because I started in 1970 as a redcoat, so it took me 16 years to be a new face. It
takes experience to get up there, and you say that you went on tour with Danny LaRue and Cannon and Ball. You must have guested on so many TV variety shows to build up the bums on seats, or these days bums on every other seat. You know, to start doing your own theatre show, the Billy Pearce Laughter Show. It took quite a lot of work to get to that status, didn't it? To do those shows. And I did see you in Blackpool in '95, and I think you sold out the Opera House, which is a 3,000 seater. So that's an incredible feat to do, you know, as a variety performer. You know, from doing, was it New Faces that launched you into?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
obviously, Laurie and the people at International Artists, he was in my corner and saw something in me. But it was great, you know, at the time. Sadly, when it was all taken up for me, I was going through a divorce and all that. There was all sorts of swings. It wasn't comedy and tragedy, really.
Just bad timing, yeah.
Yes, I could have perhaps done better than I actually did. But, you know, because of Laurie, and he got me on the Royal Commandments, well, I did 3 of them and 5 children's royals. So, all that kind of thing. So, by the time I went back to the clubs, when I never wanted to be a star, Steve, to be honest. It's never been, like I said earlier on, my ambition was to be a club fella, which I kind of achieved that. But, you know, I'm not comfortable in a TV studio and stuff like that.
Sure.
So I've been very lucky, really. I don't know how I managed it, to be honest. In fact, I've been clearing my garage out. I've been thinking of writing it all down.
You're going to do a book. I mean, what better time to start writing a book? Your memoirs would be amazing.
I found a couple of 2 big cases in the garage. I'm open for ages, and I've got every programme from every show, and I've got them all. Lots of them have been recorded and all that. And I just look back and I look at all these wonderful people. I found lovely pictures of me and Barbara Windsor, and you know, that kind of thing. And
Yeah, people want to see it, you know, Billy. It's nice to share that moment, you know, and not forget about it, and that's why it's nice to talk about it, because it hopefully will, you know, sort of kickstart the memoirs. I love my biographies, and so, you know, I'd love to have yours in the collection. Yeah, you.
In a way, it kind of cheered me up. I've been a bit fed up with all this going on, and I feel like I've been put out to pasture, if you like.
Yeah, it's affected so many people in different ways, hasn't it, in this business? I mean, I worked a Warner's gig a couple of weeks ago, and the musicians told me 60% of musicians have left the business, which has obviously been forced out, but they've actually decided, you know, to get jobs and just give up the business because there's fighting a losing battle at the moment. So it's, yeah, and it's so disheartening.
I have a couple of guys that work for me, which obviously they're not at the moment, and I have a band with a very big, powerful sound system. And of course, the sound guy, they go ahead and they get it all set up in the afternoon. And then I turn up an hour before I'm due, and it's all very civilised, so I don't have to hang about. And sometimes I go dressed, ready, and I'll walk on from the back of the room shouting hello, get up and do me an hour and a half or whatever. And then jump off the stage and walk straight down the audience, and out the door and gone.
Yes.
And then I wait for them to come back with the gear. And then I have my band sign written as Pearce's Light Removals.
Well, if you've got an empty van, you might as well use it. And yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a lovely van. You know, I only did about 1,000 miles before this happened. It's been sat there ever since.
Oh, you're joking. My wife sings, and I bought her a brand new PA in March, believe it or not. She was just writing a brand new show to do, and she, you know, she's been off for like 8 years from singing because we got 2 kids. But I said, no, this year is going to be your year. I'm going to get you on the stage, and you know, it's all been about me, you know, Steve the ventriloquist. But I want Nina to shine. She's so passionate about singing again. So I got a PA, and it's sat in the garage. So same scenario, but we haven't got a van, so I can't do the removals.
Oh, contributional.
My wife's a dancer, or was a dancer, and she still misses the business. She went to Brian Rogers and did a lot when they used to have dancers on telly, you know, surprise.
Yeah, I worked with Brian once. Wow, Brian Rogers.
What a lovely man he was. He just passed away recently.
Oh, very sad. Yeah.
Brian, I like Brian a lot. 3, 2, 1 and all them.
All those top shows, they were brilliant, weren't they?
Rogers, yeah.
Yeah, you must have guesses on a lot of those shows. But this is where your material must have sort of you started to get quite a lot of material. And I did see an interview you done with Robin Colville of the Grumbleweeds, where, if you don't mind telling the story, when you was in Clubland and the club secretary said you have to do 3 spots tonight, and I love the way you told the story. It's
well, there's loads of them. A bloke said to me once, it was a big massive club that we should never want this gone in Sheffield. It was called St Philip's, and it's a huge, one of the biggest clubs, massive, with like a proper theatre stage and everything. So I was setting my guitar on, but it might get resurrected at some time. It comes out on summer season with the referees.
okay.
So I've got a white Fender guitar and a Fender amp. So, and what happens is I put the guitar up to I have a request to play the guitar, and I've got the bit of music, and the guitar bit will come on, when I come into it. And I have to turn around, fiddle with the knobs, and eventually I press a button behind, and I used to have it on a plug, just sticking out of a plug socket, and I used to put my foot behind the amp and push the plug in, which was literally one of them big maroons with the wires.
Oh, yes.
And I'd wrap it around the pins, so when you shove it in a big sort of car back, one of them square ones, a big one, and it would fire off the maroon.
Oh, yeah.
So this club at Sagittarius, we had to be right careful with it because it was so sensitive, and sometimes I've set it off by mistake, as I'm setting up, and which is funny because the people that sat there all miserable, like staring at you.
That get their attention.
Yeah, absolutely. So the concert secretary fella, there was one hell of a bang. I was in the dressing room, there was a right big bang, and a load of smashing glass, and he walked past me and said, I saw this plug sticking out of a socket, and I thought that don't look right. So he said, I pushed it in, he got a pound in his hand and he threw it in the air and smashed it up. And that was fun. The bloke it was Cudder Village Club, which is Cudder Village, it's like a village outside Barnsley.
Oh, yes.
And they talk really broad, that noise. Hey up now, them silly old cock, they talk, hey up.
Proper Barnsley, yeah.
Where's the window, this demon eat, and all that, right? So he said, and the bloke was called Quiller, and he was a typical, flat cap bloke.
Oh, lovely.
I'm setting up, and he walked past me, and he went, oh, because when you, in them days, when you were kind of a singer, or, that kind of actor, double actor.
You'd have to split it up, wouldn't you, into 2 spots?
3.
Three. Yeah, like 3:45s or something, wasn't it? Or
3 half an hours was basically it.
Blimey.
Right, but as it became known as a comics always did, only in Yorkshire, but they did 2 spots, whereas everywhere else just did 1. But anyway, they made me do 2. But so I said to me agent manager, you've got to tell all these people I can't be doing 3 one night and 2 another night. And I built up all this. I worked at Beach Home Holiday Camp. We were a holiday camp in Cleethorpes. I'm a star in Cleethorpes.
Right.
And so I built up all this material because we had to do like 5 nights a week, and I was comparing and doing all the bits. So I finished up with all this material. So I was doing, they'd say 2:45s or 3 half an hour, so you got an hour and a half.
Right.
But I was doing an hour and 15 each, right? 2 hours, an hour and 15 interval, bingo, and then another hour and 15.
Wow.
And it was a thing of trying to get me off. So I'd climb on the table and turn the clock back and things like that. That kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I got a reputation for being a bit of a diddle with the chairman and all that, when trying to shut the tabs on me and things. So the audience loved it. So this man, I'm supposed to be doing 2:45, because I'm a comedian.
Yes,
so
yeah.
He says 3/8. He walked past me, he went with his flat cap on, 3 hours, and he'd gone. I thought, 3 half hours, I'm sure you can. So I'm in the dressing room with Fred and Albert, the organist and drummer.
Yeah.
Everything in 16s, like levels. And so he comes in, Quiller, and I'm going through my music with the lads. And sometimes I'd give the drummer the bass parts. And go through a couple of numbers before I say, oh, sorry, I've given you the wrong parts. And then, because I knew they couldn't read. When they're pretending to read the parts, so you give them the bass part. Pretending to read them, and never seen a bit of music. So anyway, he says, 3 hours. So he comes in, and I said, Quiller, what do you mean 3 hours? He said, that's doing 3 hours. I hope you can understand this. So I'm doing 3 hours.
Yes.
I said, no, I don't do that anymore. You should have been told by the agency. I said, I'm a comedian. I'm a comedian. I said, 2 spots. He said, no, that's doing 3. I said, no, 2, I only did 2 now. He said, he said, I'm fed up to backseat. The turn's coming in my club, telling me how to run it on a Saturday night. We've got bingo to pitch in and everything. Tell me that I was doing 3 spots, but doing 3. How long do you want? He said, I want 3 hours. I said to Quiller, everywhere I go now, I do 2 1 hour, 15 minutes. He said, that's not getting away with that here.
That only works with that accent, doesn't it? It's perfect.
But it's true, though. It's a true story. And then the other one with a guitar, I'm tuning my guitar up, you know, the Fender and the thing and all that. And I used to do, I've got a Gibson, I've still got it hanging up. I bought it in 1972. It's been everywhere with me, that guitar. And so it's hanging up in my studio. I wouldn't, it's probably worth a lot of money, but I won't park. It's got all dents and stuff. I've even run over it in my car.
It's something that you need to hold on to because it's poignant to you.
You couldn't buy it off me, love, to be honest.
No.
It's part of me.
Yeah.
So I'm tuning up my guitar. When I first started, before guitar tuners, you used to have a tuning fork, and you go ding like that, stick it in your teeth.
Yeah.
So as it's vibrating, it would vibrate in your head. and then I tune the guitar up, and I used to have, you know, the strings at the top. I'd have a fag. When the days when you could smoke in the club, and I'd be smoking, and as I was tuning, it's like a habit that I had. And I'd stick it in the string so the filter would be stuck on the end of the bit that's sticking out the tuning peg. So I'm tuning up, and the bloke comes to me and he goes, he says, hurry up, lad. He said, it's 20 past 8, I want you on at 1:30. I said, well, I'll just finish tuning up. He said, tuning up? What are you tuning up now for? You've known about this for 6 months.
That's lovely, isn't it?
Oh, no, it's brilliant. You know, I'll have to write a book. You know, funny then, you know, in them days it was, you know, it's different now. It's a different world.
Yeah, well, that's why you need to write a book, because we want to hear those stories. I've only experienced like accommodation in like Haven Caravans, Butlin Chalets, or Premier Inns, but I missed out on those days. Billy, I missed out on those digs, you know, the proper digs where you get characters that put you up in the B&Bs and stuff. Do you have any, it created anecdotes for entertainers, didn't it? And I never experienced that. Did you have any funny nights in those sort of accommodations?
One that springs to mind, and it's not particularly pleasant, but at the time it was hilarious, and I've never ever forgotten it. And it was Pro Digs.
Yes.
It was down in like Southampton. We were touring in a Christmas show.
Okay.
And they used to be called Osman, believe it or not. I can't remember the names, but anyway, it was like a production show. Not Billy Bragg, but another somebody Bragg. He did quite well for a while.
Okay.
So he was a comic in it, and I was in a double act with my girlfriend. But anyway, we were all in these digs, and the lady there, they had all the pictures of all the old actors that were at the local theatre.
Oh, yes.
All these 10 by 8s, and she had a little bar. And this lady, and she was sort of like a bouffon hair, older lady, and this particular night she was sat holding court on a stool at her bar, and she had smoked cigarettes in a cigarette holder. You know, the long thing.
Yeah, she's proper showbiz.
Yes, I was only talking to John Gielgud the other day, and you know that. And I hate name droppers. I was only telling the Queen the other day. And she sat there holding court, this lady, old Regal and that, and she had, you remember them white sort of PVC boots that went zipped up, so they're underneath your knee.
Oh, yes.
Real 60s, you know, with sort of Cuban heat.
I can picture it.
No, so she sat cross-legged with the cigarette holder and all that. She then, I'll be back in a minute. And up she went to the loo, right? So we all carried on talking, sat down, having a drink and all that. And then she came back and sat down on the stool again and crossed her legs. And inside her tights, just at the top of the white PVC boots, was a turd.
Oh, no.
Stuff like that.
Oh, dear. Wow.
Happy days, mate.
Lies and teeth. Now, Billy, you're really known for your rapid fire gags and jokes. You're really quick fire, and they flow one after the other. And sometimes you don't mind starting the next line before the laughter dies down of the last joke. Are you uncomfortable with silence? Because I know I am. I am. My wife tells me off in elevators when people get in, I'd start humming or singing, or sometimes I'd sing without moving my lips, and I'll get the nudge or the look from her to say, stop doing it. She'll kick me. In those situations, in lifts or libraries or funerals, so are you uncomfortable with silence, or do you just love to keep...
as well, because if they heard that particular gag, you want to get on to the next one.
Yeah.
So if they heard one, you're on the next one before they have a chance to,
Yeah, sure.
Funnily enough, talking about silence, I was doing a musical which I thought was brilliant. It was called Stand Up, and it was all about stand-up comedians. And it was the fellow that wrote Crazy Frog. He wrote the music.
Hello. Talk about silence.
I don't know what happened there.
We talked about silence, and it went silent. The guy who wrote Crazy Frog, he wrote the musical Stand Up.
Yes, Daryl Denham was the other bloke. Who was a DJ, radio DJ, and there was me, Lionel Blair.
Was it Dean Sullivan? Was Dean Sullivan?
Dean Sullivan, yeah, okay. Dean Sullivan, bless him, he's a lovely man. Darren Day,
yes,
me, and some really talented kids. It was all about, and a lad from Wales who did. He was more supposedly the new kid, the alternative.
Okay.
In the musical, the kid, the young guy, he's doing a club, and some people started heckling him, and he's stopped him with heckler stoppers, but they waited for him outside and they beat him up, and he gets blood on the brain. So he's all in the show. Darren Day's horrible. He's like the man of the moment, and I'm the knackered old comic that used to be Mr. Saturday Night, and I'm not on telly anymore. It's all moved on. So I'm accusing everybody of nicking my material and all that sort of thing. Yeah,
this isn't one character played by three different parts. This is three different comics, is it, in the musical? Yeah. Okay, right.
So at one point the lad dies. He's supposed to be the Royal Command, and he starts fluffing all his lines and everything, but it's because he's got this brain thing.
It's hemorrhage. Wow.
Yes, and they take him away to hospital and all that. And Darren Day, as the horrible one with no sympathy whatsoever, makes fun of him. And the audience don't like it. And so I have to come out then, as the old guy, and I save the situation.
Yes.
There was this long speech, and I come out the closet. I'm a closet gay, and I have been all my life, and I have a partner.
Right.
And but we've kept it secret, So I decide that I'm going to tell everybody. So I come out of the closet and I say, look, this is the time, and it makes you realise that these things are more important. Somebody's lost their life, and I'm worried about coming out, and so I do this speech. So I'd learnt it all, and it was very dramatic. And the man who was directing it, he said to me, will you come in on the Saturday morning? He said, because I want to talk to you. So I went in on Saturday morning, and he said, it was very nice. He said, you're rushing this. You need to, you need to take your time. It's very dramatic, and you need to take your time. So I said, all right. And so he said, just do it again. He said, I will hold my finger up when I want you to pause, and I want you to wait to start the next line till I put my finger down again. So I said, right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's times like this when you realise that there's more important things to life than just being funny and don't listen to things. And he holds his finger up. I went, I can't do it. I can't wait that long. There's no way. They're taking the piss out of me. I can't do it. He said, please, Billy. He said, just do it. And do you know what? He was bang on.
Really?
He was bang on. When I was doing it, it really choked me up. I had tears in my eyes and everything.
Wow.
But there was grown men crying in the audience.
Yeah, well, it's going to be difficult for you to get that line out if you're welling up yourself, actually. So it really did touch you in that way.
Yeah, but it was right. The silence. There's a power
Yes,
to silence.
it's very important, isn't it? Especially in comedy, you know. And I mean, in drama, it's very, very powerful. But in comedy, if you can do it, then there's a genius there somewhere, isn't there? And
I love pathos as well. You know, sometimes I get a chance to, you know, 1 minute you're making them laugh and the next minute you're making them cry.
yeah, I see that in Ricky Gervais sort of work,
It's brilliant.
you know,
Yes.
because you can laugh and then you're crying 2 minutes later. It's
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, I love pathos.
There's one bit, and I haven't done for a bit. It's when you're falling in love with the princess and whatever, but she's falling in love with the prince, or she's met the prince, and you think, it's like the kitchen scene in Cinderella.
Yeah, yeah.
I've met a man. He's tall. I give you all the action behind it, and then it's actually the bloke she's met in the forest. And so at least once she goes off, and she's gone, the girl, and she's told you she's going to meet this fella that she's falling in love with. And so this song, I don't know where I got it from, and it is actually a song, but I only sing the first line, and it goes and get the music playing, and there's a spot on me that gradually goes right down, to a pin spot, and I go, I wish I could be the one who could give you love, the kind of love you really need. And the pin's right down. I go, it's not good puns and jokes. I can't sing anymore. I'm too upset. Got off.
There's a song that you do in this. Is it this? It's not the same song, is it? Times Like This, is it?
Oh, how do you know that? That was in stand-up.
Is it
Times like this.
Stand Up the musical?
Yes.
It's such a beautiful ballad, and it comes across very David Bowie when you put that across. But it stands alone as a hit record. It's such a beautiful song, and I've not seen you singing, so I didn't know how powerful you could sing. And obviously, you have got it. You've got singing, acting, dancing, and extreme comedy. But your voice was stunning in this music. It is online, by the way. There's a clip of it online, and it's.
I think I've seen it. Yes.
It's so powerful.
Well, funny enough, that was about the boy who died.
Was it?
Yeah, the lad who died. He was modelling himself on a Welsh comic, well known. Once again, my memory. This is how bad my memory is. I had up in court in Leeds the other week before lockdown, and the judge said, Mr. Pearce. I said, yes. I said, I'm awfully sorry. I said, I can't remember why I'm here. I forgot. I don't know why I'm here. He said, I'll tell you why you're here. I said, my memory's getting worse. I said, I've got no, I can't remember. He said, well, I'll tell you why you're here. I said, come on then. He said, on June the 19th last year, you were seen speeding through the middle of Leeds on the roof rack of a Volvo estate, making love to a one-legged dwarf, waving the Star-Spangled Banner, blowing a penny whistle and flicking peanuts at passers-by. I said, what was the date again?
That's lovely. I love your comedy when you really speed talk through your routines. You've got so many of those routines where you would talk for about 3 minutes or something, and then you would stop, and it brings the house down because it's such a learned scripted thing that you do. Do you learn it sort of passionately? Do you learn that script as it is, or do you just? Is it like ad-lib all the way through, that sort of thing?
There are certain things.
There's a premise to it, isn't it?
Yeah, you write it, don't you? And then you embellish on it. And then
yes.
You keep that bit, and then it gets more and more.
You add to it, yeah.
So I think going back to one thing I found very, very difficult when after double acts and everything, I was like Mr. Cheese, the song and dance man.
Yes.
Tap dancing and playing guitar and banjo and ukulele and jack of all trades, mashing on.
Was that in the Stewart Brothers? Are you Stewart Brothers?
Yeah, Stewart Brothers.
Okay.
And with Sally, my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
And so eventually when I bit the bullet, I went on my own because I was trying to still be a song and dance man. And there was a song, it's called All About Your Cane, Your Walking Stick.
All right.
And without my walking stick, I'll go insane. Can't look my best or be undressed without my cane. But there was a man who was a magician who did this brilliant routine with a trick cane. And it's on a piece of catgut. And the cane's made out of balsa wood. And he was so clever with it, so you let go of the cane and it just kind of floats. But also it'll turn right round and you can put it round your head and all that. So I spent ages learning to do this. I thought it'd be brilliant and fool them all in the clubs.
Yeah.
So I'm on those on practice and it went to Can't look more extra beyond dress without my kitten. It used to go into slowly. The ba 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 bum. You know, and then do the bit with the cane. And it goes back into the tempo. Can't look more extra beyond dress without my kitten. Right. So I goes on this club. How do I say with that? Walking stick, I did say, can't look my extra beyond dress without my ding. I started doing all this. And it wrapped around the mic stand. I got it all knotted around the mic stand.
No.
I hadn't moved the mic stand. And I couldn't get it off and all. Well, they were all killing themselves laughing. Do you know what I mean? Because it couldn't roll.
Yeah.
Yes. So there was things like that happened when I thought, I'm going to be funny now. I enjoyed being funny. Forget the Mr. Cheese, the song and dance man. And also, I thought you can get old doing comedy.
Yeah.
You know, you can't, I went around the Batley Variety Club with, when Charlie Williams, the compere, and he was a friend.
Wow, that sounds like a great venue. I hear a lot of people bring up Batley's Variety, and it's iconic, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, me and the Stewart Brothers, when I was Stewart Brothers, so we'd be doing 3 spots in the club, so you had to do like 25 minutes as a warm-up act,
Right.
With the Everly Brothers and all that. One drank heavily and the other one smoked heavily. And Roy Orbison, Shirley Bassett. So she
Wow.
picked me. She was good, wasn't she? And, I was doing all the Arab springs and backflips and, tap dancing and doing all the harmonies and playing all the banjo and the thing and all that. Working my knockouts coming off, absolutely knackered, man. I was knackered, so I went to the bar afterwards and the comic went on, having a cigarette with a glass of booze in his hand, leaning on the mic stand. And we only got like maybe half the audience paying any attention to us.
Yes.
Whereas this man had a meeting out of his hand, and I looked at him and I thought, I'm going wrong here somewhere. I want to be like that. I want to do what he's doing. I want to hold people in the palm of my hand.
Yeah.
I want to feel that it's like mass hypnosis if you get it right.
Sure.
And the other thing that I've for a long time is the Mexican laugh in the theatre. When you get a Mexican laugh at Billy, when they do like at stadium.
The Mexican wave. Yeah. Oh, yeah. When you get that wave of laughter.
And all their heads come down in a wave towards you.
Oh, amazing.
And when they all laugh that much,
yes.
throw their heads back and then lean forward. But it's a Mexican laugh.
It's nice to hear that in laughter, isn't it? It's not just a cheer, but you're getting it with laughter. And I guess you feel that in pantomimes when you finish a panto. The adulation that you get, the admiration that you've got from doing that whole performance, those 2.5 hours that you do on stage, and people appreciate you, and it's that feeling obviously that we miss right now, the adrenaline that we get on the stage.
All I remember is good evening.
When you've done the Royal Variety shows, Billy, and I know you've done so many, but they were great shows to get back in the 80s, maybe even the 90s, because the variety was still thriving. I still got the one that you did at the Children's Royal Variety Show with Ron Lucas and Keith Harris. And as a ventriloquist, obviously, I always watched for the ventriloquist, but I remember you hosting that show and running. There was a storyline through the children's version, wasn't there?
I wrote a lot of that.
Did you? Wow, it's such a good show.
I've still got the right royal ruby of Ramesses the Great on my mantel shelf.
Have you really? Because that's what the whole show was based around, that.
I know, I nicked it at the end of the night. But when I come off, when I'd done it all, and Bradley Walsh said to me, how did you get this gig? I said, well, Laurie, probably, because he weren't doing it at the time. I mean, look at him now, bless him.
Yeah.
We go back, we were like a bit of a sort of rat pack. It was me, Jeff Stevenson.
Yeah, I love Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah, lovely lad. Joe Pasquale.
Yes.
Shane Ritchie.
Yes.
Bobby
Davro, yeah. There's about 6 of you, isn't there?
Yeah. It was great.
Wow. Do you know what I would love to see? Those names you just mentioned, I would love to see a TV show with you guys back together. And because, wow, I mean, it'll be a whole TV series. I'd give you 12 episodes if I had the power. It's just the power of all your talents is incredible. And you hit the nail on the head. Those guys are the British Rat Pack, just the talent that you've all got. And Alan Stewart as well, it's just really...
Yeah, no, he's great. Alan, I mean, he's obviously very powerful up in Scotland. He does Edinburgh, I think, every year. And he's a nice fella. I met him at the Panto things that we used to have in Birmingham.
Oh,
because
okay.
their show went on a week longer than ours.
Right.
So Nick used to invite us all down, and we'd go and get absolutely paralytic.
Oh, nice.
And watch the show and all that. So I'd meet all these icons that I've never had, the place to work with or to know.
Yeah.
And I got on great with Alan Stewart. He seemed like a nice fella.
I've had him on the show just last week, and just
Did you?
yeah, incredible guy.
You know, one of my songs, and I've never forgotten it. I loved him singing it, and it was called The Opening Night.
Oh yes.
And I want to be there on the opening night. Just want to be there. And the opening night, and all these people, they'll be singing and dancing.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, it was great.
I have to put that on at the beginning of this.
Yeah. Absolutely, it's a lovely song.
Doing the children's royal variety shows, that must have done wonders for your pantomime audiences and your families, because great one-liners and routines and sketches that you've had as well. So you must have built up more material and acts doing all the pantomimes over the years, which I think you've done mostly in Bradford. You've done 18 in Bradford.
21 years.
Was it 20 now? Wow, 21.
Yes, it's only because I'm cheap.
Well, they don't want to let go of you. That's the thing, isn't it? When you build up a reputation and record breaking, yeah, they must love you there.
I love the theatre. I know all the staff, and everybody's lovely, and they're always took to see me, and I feel very much at home there.
Yeah.
But I mean, we played to 90,000 last year.
Wow.
90,000 people. It took over 2 million, bless them. I wish it were all my money. But,
yeah.
and they're great shows. But the difficulty, it's a double-edged sword, because I've got to come up with stuff.
Well, you got to beat the next year. You got to beat last year. So it's
yes,
tricky, isn't it?
And it's got, sometimes you can repeat stuff that maybe you did 10 years ago.
Yes.
Dig it out and redo it. And, you can't beat a good panto routine anyway. But
no.
That is the problem. It's finding new material. If I went somewhere else, I'd have a wealth of material that I could.
Yeah, that's true. I guess if you're in the same place for so long, but then, do you know what? When you've got so many fans that come back year after year because they love you, if you are doing something from 5 years ago, they won't remember. You mix it up, and you mix and match, and that's why Panto works. Because the songs change every year, because Disney always release new movies, or there's always something new, pop songs coming out. So it does change. I mean, when you do your theatre tours, Billy, and you've done so many, but you sell out everywhere up north, and you still.
And down south, I can't draw a breath.
That's what I tried to ask. I mean, do you venture down south at all? Apart from doing the plays, you did do a few plays down here, but doing your own show.
Not so much. I did a few years. But when you're on telly,
yes,
I could put bums on seats up and down the country. But as your light gradually fades, if you like, the people don't know who you are. So I'd be going a bit, it was no financial gain to it at all. It costing me money sometimes.
Sure.
To go to places. I think I did do Oxford actually, but it was my adult show.
Okay.
And I had a bit of a do with I think it was Apollo at the time.
Yes.
I used to carry a big backcloth with me.
Oh, right.
The name that lit up in fibre optics reappears.
Oh, nice.
And I had a tap table with like a drum riser, but it had microphones in it, so I could jump on it and tap dance. And then I'd have my guitar on and the white Fender plus my maroon Gibson, my banjo and my ukulele.
Wow.
So the stage would look busy. And then I used to get a couple of people about the audience, normally women, and put them top hats and canes on and get them to do putting on the Ritz with me.
Yes.
And it was a nice routine. But this particular night I'd gone all the way to Oxford, and there was literally nobody in. And the fellow wanted to charge, they charged me 200 quid or something just to bring the cloth in, all that. And then I forgot my top hats, so I lost them. And it cost me £1,000 to do it.
We're paying to go to work.
Yeah. I thought, well, I'm going wrong here somewhere.
Crazy.
Obviously, it's not financially viable to do it. I know now it's, if you're touring, like these tours doing Lowestoft and places like that, down to Minehead and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Them sorts of things, which, I mean, the Butlins side of it, I've done that. Went back to Butlins doing all the camps.
Okay.
And I didn't do well in them rooms because, with the kids running about and the machines going and all that, and I tried my hardest to be more visual and rather than, the guys, their attention span. No.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've got to be listened to when you're, an act. And those rooms there's so many distractions in there from bars and kids and fruit machines and things still going on. And you're fighting against so many different,
I was going to say because what you do, with the dummies and everything, that will hold their attention. And also the other thing is, it's great you can hear away from there because it's not you saying it.
Yes.
It's the cheeky little bugger on your knee. That's the whole gag, isn't it?
And it's the cheeky little bugger holding him that knows that. Yeah. Eyes and teeth.
Like you mentioned Keith, bless him.
Yeah.
Me and him had a long... My wife's godmother to his kids.
Really?
Kitty and Shen.
Is it,
she's doing great. I know you've been working with Kitty, and she looks fantastic. I mean, last time I saw her, she was a little girl. Keith would be so proud of her, wouldn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
It was very sad what happened to us because we were great pals. We did fall out, and when I found out how ill he was, because funnily enough, my motorbike crash, I had to have my spleen out.
Really? Wow.
And he had to have his spleen taken out. So I wrote him a letter. A letter just saying, Keith, I'm ever sorry that you're going through it, and whatever's gone on between us, I'm sorry for what's happening to you now, and let's hope that you get better and you're back on that stage where you belong and all that. And he wrote me a nice letter back, and I was very pleased that we kind of buried the hatchet.
Yeah.
You can't live your life in bitterness and
No,
anger.
you can't.
I think it shows on your face if you do.
It's lovely to hear about, the letters between you two. That is really nice.
I desperately want that to be clear.
Oh, conversational.
I mean, I did probably about 20 years at Blackpool Grand, and I've worked in some family. We used to do 4 months. I can't believe it now. Can you imagine that? 4 months, 16 weeks summer season.
I know, wow.
Through clubs and then into Pantomime, and that would go on into February.
Yeah.
We were so lucky. I didn't realise how lucky we were at the time.
Can I just say you've done, at the Grand Theatre in Blackpool, 1,000 appearances there. You're like a record breaker for appearances.
Probably more, but I think maybe Steve Royal might have beaten me now.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Because I hold the record in the history of the building. I've been on that stage more times than anybody else.
Nice.
So,
and it is a lovely theatre, isn't it?
Yes. It became the theatre of variety, and at one point, after all them shows, they didn't want me back. It's a bit sad, really. I could have gone and done the night there. But I do Viva just down the road, that Viva Cabaret Bar, and that's a nice place. Lee D. Jones has got it. It'd be great for you.
Oh, Viva? Yeah, Viva? Yeah.
Have you done it?
I put a show on for Keith, actually. I think I asked you to come, but you were working. But, yeah, for the statue. So we actually sold out. It's a lovely venue, Viva. Really nice.
I put my name to it, by the way. There was a thing on, and Nick Thomas and everybody, and I put said, I want Keith to have a statue. He should do.
Oh, thank you.
You can't take it away from him, can you?
No, I appreciate that. It's it's all very, very sad, isn't it? What's going on at the moment, and then we start reminiscing a lot more about things that we could have done. And I'm always thankful for people that have helped me out in the past, and so I try and pay them back in my own little way, So
yes.
But I have played the Viva only on that night, but it's a lovely place, and it's nice to save these places as well. It's sad if we hear them. The North Pier now actually is called the Joe Longthorne Pier, isn't it?
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I didn't know that.
Yeah, things have changed. Let's hope that they can save the pier as well, because I know they suffer, especially in these sort of times. But you've won loads of awards, like many Entertainer of the Year awards, Pride of Yorkshire, and a British Comedy Award must have been a proud moment for you.
Well, I couldn't believe it. I beat, at the time, Ken Dodd and Michael Barrymore had a mouthful of peanuts. Never thought they're going to shout my name.
Yeah, I watched that every year, that show. I loved the Comedy Awards, because you see the Spike Milligan moments, the Michael Barrymore. Yeah, were you really? I think they show your face. Because it's Spike Milligan. It's the Prince Charles moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, he called him a grovelling pig or whatever he called it.
I think Prince Charles was saying you're one of the finest comedians, you know, I've ever known, and Spike just called him a grovelling little bastard, didn't he?
Yeah, that's it. I had the pleasure to meet him a couple of times.
Did you?
Wow. The second time, he remembered me. And I said, because it was only within, like, the space of a couple of weeks. I can't remember why, but I'm walking towards him in one of these corridors at a television place somewhere. And I went, "Oh, Mr. Milligan, I don't know if you remember me." He said, "Yes, we met in an elephant."
That's him.
Yeah, we met in an elephant.
Oh, bless. Yeah, Spike. The first gig that I done when we came out of the lockdown, I was driving to Canberra. I live in Eastbourne, so I passed Winchelsea on the way, and I know that Spike's buried at Winchelsea. So I stopped, knowing that his gravestone is there, and you know, on his gravestone it says, "I told you I was ill," but in Gaelic. And so I just went to his grave, stood there for 5 minutes, just to kind of get a blessing, because coming out of the lockdown, I didn't know if the audience were going to laugh. I didn't know if I wanted to be on stage. And so I kind of wanted to get a little bit of Spike Milligan behind me, if you know what I mean. It's just one of those little pathos moments that I thought, you know, he'll make sure I'm all right on that day, you know. Maybe I'm a bit sensitive and soppy, but that's...
No, I don't think you are. I think that's... I always say this is not a job, it's a passion. I mean, really, you know, I stand on that stage sometimes, wherever it might be, if I've had a really good night, and especially in pantomime, when we stand there in that finale and the place goes bananas.
Oh, it's a magical moment, isn't it?
I could, honestly, I want to get a bottle and capture that laughter and that applause in the bottle and put the lid on it. And one day when I'm old and I can't do it anymore, and I'm in at home, I could just take the lid off and have a listen.
Oh, they do it in Cannes, I think. In TV studios.
I'll get one of them.
Oh, mate, that's a lovely thing to say. That really is nice to hear that.
You just love it, don't you? You love it. I just love it. The sound of kids laughing and, you know, that sort of thing. And
yes.
When you can, I think to myself, I do this and don't. I stand there and I think,
well, we are at the moment. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I know, I would as well if I didn't need to feed my family, you know, and it's something that is always with us. You have such a physical act as well, pacing up and down and falling off the stage. I mean,
ever since I got hit on the head with the tomato, and it was still in the tin at the time.
Where did you get your energy from? And you must be exhausted. And where can I get them from? So, especially when you've got 2 or 3 shows a day. I say 3 shows a day in Panto. How do you get through your day as Billy Pearce when you're working so hard?
Well, it's got harder over the years because I'm not a spin chicken anymore.
Yeah.
It gets harder. Whereas in the old days, I'd be out partying. I think the hardest one, I did Gate and I had to do 3 shows there.
Yeah.
And at the end of the night, I could hardly move. But nowadays, I don't, because I feel the responsibility and the pressure of being on top of the bill.
Yes.
With whoever I'm on with, who I share the stage with. Those people, I feel that it's my duty to be as fit as I possibly can and to not go out partying and be trying to perform with a hangover and all that sort of thing. You know, it's my job to drive it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, Max Boyce used to call me the engine driver. He said, once you've been on, he said, I have to work very, very hard to follow you.
Wow.
He said, you force me to, you know, when I don't feel like it, I have to do it.
Yes.
Which is what I think about, I think it does. It's not when I get to rehearsals and I find out coming in Barford, and I wouldn't have it anyway, but I get to rehearsals and I kind of know it. It's too much for me to learn it all that week. And I've been working on it anyway, probably from about the September, October time. And then it builds up, and then we get this, it literally all comes together in about 8 days. So when I turn up to rehearsals and I'm off the script straight away, and then I don't bother reading it until I get paid. It wakes them up.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, they think, I better get this into out now. This is a bit different. Because it's only because I need to know it. It's like when you're working with people who don't know I mean, have to do it with no names mentioned. Sometimes they can't remember the lines at all. So you have to know their lines as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I done Panto for Kudos in 2012 at High Wycombe, and it was with Craig Rivell Horwood and Anne Widdecombe, and Craig was incredible. He was directing, but I was on stage at the end, and all of the main characters were on stage, but Craig just went blank. And Anne Widdecombe, I'm talking about knowing other people's lines. Anne Widdecombe, and you would have thought it was the other way round.
I would, yeah.
Anne Widdecombe walked forward, said Craig's line, and walked back to her place again. The place erupted, and we were all like astounded. You know, it was in hysterics. But she saved the day. Oh, he was great. Yeah, he was brilliant. Him and Anne had such a rapport together on stage, and she was. She was great, but I mean, yeah, you have to learn other people's lines, I guess, and to get them out that moment, actually, it's quite nice. You know, I mean, I could vent it to someone if they forgot their line, so they won't know, or I could just say it for them in their voice.
Yeah. A funny story about that is that I didn't do it last year, but normally Guy Hine does all the arrangements and the music. So I go down to Covent Garden where they have the push office. And they have the keyboard set up in the waiting room sort of thing, and go through the music.
Oh, yes.
And make sure it's in the right keys for me. Otherwise, it's wrong and I can't belt it out. It needs to be in the right key for me. So I'm going through the music, and it was a song, I can't remember how it went. But Gary Hines said, this is Christopher Biggins's song. He does it every year.
Right.
Pantomime. So I said, well, I won't touch it, then I won't go change the key. If it's in his key, we'll just leave it as it is, you know, and it'll be fine. Well, when we got to rehearsal, he didn't know it. He didn't know it.
Really?
He didn't know it. Yeah, he didn't know it.
Oh.
It was funny, though. It was funny. I don't think it could... And we do stuff like, you know, the chat-up lines?
Yes.
You know, the chat-up lines bag. Yeah, pass me the tea bag and all that, you know. Pass me the apple tart. You just don't know that. Pass me the bacon pig. And, you know, so he says, you don't do, you know, you say, pass me the sugar, sweet. And you have a go. Pass me the tea bag and all that. No, you don't. Well, he couldn't remember his line. But you know what? I absolutely loved him. He was such a loud, big, laugh, funny, great to have around. He's a lovely, nice man to everybody.
Yeah, Biggins in Panto, you know, it's a wonderful place if Biggins is in Panto, isn't it? I had to go and see him, actually, last Christmas I went to see my little mate, Max Fulham, a great young ventriloquist who's just starting out, and he was doing Panto with Ricky.
Is he Hilary O'Neill?
Yes, he's just brilliant.
No, I've worked with Max, he's great.
Oh, isn't he? He's fantastic.
He's a lovely lad and all.
He is, yeah. He's doing well. He's got the passion, you see, Billy. He's got the passion, and he loves it. So, and you can tell.
But that's very generous of you as well, because there's a lot of jealousy in people who are like comics and against comics and singers.
Yeah.
Knocking singing.
Yeah, it does happen. You know, you get these, and I know I'm mates with quite a lot of ventriloquists, and I know that some of them don't get on with each other, but I can't help being who I am, you know, and I've had the people, you know, Keith Harris, Ron Lucas, Jimmy Townley were all great to me, and I would do the same to younger ventriloquists and stuff. And
he was on New Faces the same year, I think.
Jimmy was on in '87, and that's how I started.
The year after.
Yeah, so it was a year after you, I think, and that was because Pasquale Joe was on the same year as Jimmy, so yeah, it's all 87, 86, 87. Good years of variety still.
Joe was with me for 2 or 3 years, supporting me in my shows.
Was he? Wow.
Yeah, bless him. We're still mates. You know, I haven't spoke to him for 2 or 3 weeks now, but we're still keeping contact. You know, I see how he is. I love him, Joe.
Yeah, he's another hard worker, you know, and I just read one of his horror books, actually, and although he's not doing, some others do have him on tour, which is supposed to be on now, or he'll be getting ready for Panto like yourself.
Did you see that, by the way?
I went to opening night, and I'm ready to go again as soon as he's back on it. Wasn't it brilliant?
Absolutely.
And I'm surprised he hasn't got anything wrong with his spleen with the stunts that he does in it. But
I know, he was all wrapped up. He was in his dressing room, was putting all this padding on so he could fall down the stairs. It did make me laugh. He's funny as Joe.
Oh, he is, isn't he? He's great. But you've done a great Great play, which I'm gutted I didn't get to see because I think you came to my hometown of Eastbourne. Seriously Dead, the comedy play with Chrissy Rock and Fraser Hines.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
And
is that going to come back, or is that it?
No, I think that's it.
Is it Tommy
He
Cannon?
tried very hard.
Right.
Yeah, Tommy did it. It was Fraser Hines at first, and then Tommy
Okay.
took over from Fraser.
I'm gutted to miss that. Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I did. It was a different discipline. She's very strict with Leah.
Okay.
And so there was no deviation. I couldn't ad lib.
Right.
So there was like one night I'm a cafe owner, or I was a cafe owner, and my Chrissy Rock is my wife, and I'm henpecked by her. And she decides that because there's a cemetery on one side and a funeral parlour on the other, that we could have the wakes in the cafe. So I finished up with this coffin in the cafe, and Edna Blunderstone is in the coffin, who used to come in the cafe. So I sit down with Edna and talk to the coffin, and it's a long, like a couple of pages of dialogue of Edna Blunderstone. I can't believe you're here, love. Talking to Edna Blunderstone. And you remember when you used to come in and all that? And a woman walked from one side of the auditorium on a hardwood floor to go to the toilet, right across the front with these high heels on, and she kind of clumped all the way across. And I had to grit my teeth. You know what I mean? I wanted to do the we'll hide and all that, you know what I mean? I couldn't. I had to really bite my lip and not.
It's hard, isn't it, not to ad lib, and you'll be good in Macbeth.
Yeah. So do you know what? That's been suggested before.
That's it.
Yeah, the grave digger. No, the grave. Yeah, is that Macbeth? I think it is. Alas, poor Yorick.
All right.
And originally, apparently, Shakespeare wrote it for a comedian.
Really?
Played originally by a comic character.
Yeah, I love these plays that are coming out now, because you've got Steve Royal doing Dan Leno and Les Dennis doing Jigsy, and then the musical that you've done about comics. It's like we're reminiscing about those days now, about the great days of variety or music hall and bringing it up. We've seen the Tommy Cooper plays and Kenneth Williams round the horn.
I haven't seen that. It was good, the bloke that played Tommy Cooper.
Yeah, he was. There was a few, wasn't there? I'm trying to think. I saw Jerome Flynn, was it? Yeah, I saw a Tommy Cooper play. It was brilliant. I'm writing a book at the moment called Ventriloquist, which is just all about ventriloquists. And there's a part in it that I say, I've been around the world. I own my car. I've got about 300 books. I've met the Queen. I've trended on Twitter. And I got all of this from ventriloquism. And I'm proud of that. And I saw a lovely moment.
You should be as well.
Thank you. I saw this lovely moment of when you were in your home and you were talking about, you described everything around you that was paid for or earned by laughter. That's a really lovely thought, to think that people laughing at you is your life's work. What are you proud of that it's brought you, and are you happy now?
Yes, I am. In fact, somebody came to my house. Maybe the same thing. It was about what happened to people on these opportunity knocks and New Faces.
Yes.
And it was 25 years after New Faces, and the difference between that period of time and now, with how big it is now, Britain's Got Talent, and the X Factor and all that. I think there's much more pressure now than what there was then. We only did it at the Bristol Hippodrome. Nice
theatre.
Yes, but so anyway, they were talking about that. I've got a room in the house. It's called the Snug, and I've got a bar in it and all that. But it's the only place where I have memorabilia, if you like.
Work-related things, yeah.
Yeah, so I've got through the keyhole key and stuff like that, and the little presents what the kids have bought me, and I've got a little bit of the City Variety stage when they ripped it out, and it's right from the
nice.
So
wow.
Laura Nardi have walked on it, and all these famous people, and little things like that.
That's amazing.
Also, all these comedy awards, the James Carreras Award for this, that, the other.
Yeah.
Best live theatre performer, and that was where I won over Ken Dodd and Michael Barrymore, and all these things on it. And the bloke said, "What is the best thing you've ever done?" And I pointed at a picture of me on my wedding day with my wife and my son.
Wow,
And,
that's nice.
Yes, that's the most, I've been very happy.
The best memory.
I was married before, she's in the patio, and
But laughter built that patio, didn't it?
her parents said when I first got married, they promised me 4 acres of land and a canal, and I never got the land.
Oh, bless you.
I'm gonna grow a moustache next week because me and the wife like to do everything together.
Oh, mate.
She said to me, "I think you'll be putting some weight on." "Oh, what can I do?" I said, "Well, don't eat anything fatty." She said, "Well, I don't really." I said, "No, I meant don't eat anything."
Oh, it's brilliant.
Incarnation. I said, "Look, that means when you die, you come back as something else." She said, "When I die, I'm going to come back as a pig." I said, "You're not listening to me."
If you keep going, I might just do 2 parts to this talk. But Billy, I really admire you, mate. I really do, and I loved what you've done over the years. And
I'm very honoured that you've asked me to do this.
no, thank you. And you did say hello to me at the stage door. We had a picture. You were lovely, so thank you for that as well. And
You've always got to be nice because you never know.
hey, you never know who's listening. Don't know who's watching.
But there's a true saying: always be nice to people on the way up because you never know who you're going to meet on the way back down. And it's so true that it is very true.
It is.
Sometimes I go to the toilet in the gents' toilet in a club where I'm working or something, and the bloke will be stood next to me and he'll go, "Billy Pearce, last time I saw you, it was 30 years ago, and you did this for me, and I did charity night and all that, and I don't remember." But they remember.
Yeah, definitely.
It may not be that important to you at the time, but
Yeah,
at the time it's very important to them.
they do remember. Somebody sent me a picture on social media yesterday. It was just a picture of me having a picture with one of my puppets and one of their kids, and they were just saying, "This made our night," and you think, oh wow, I just stopped, had a picture and moved on, and thanked them and signed a picture or something, but that means a lot to some people, and I was that boy at the stage door. I was there meeting Billy Pearce and wanting to talk to you and get a picture, and so I don't forget that. So you pass it on, it's passing on the thing, isn't it, which is...
Yeah, I think everybody should be nice. I don't think just because you're on stage that makes you better than other people and gives you the right to be rude or...
No.
I mean, sometimes there can be a bit of a pain, but,
Yeah.
generally speaking. And I get these lovely, especially in pantomime, like one year, I'm not sure if it was last year, but I got this letter or an email, and it said, "We come to pantomime, me grandma buys the tickets as a special treat every Christmas. All the family come, and there's 12 of us, and she gets books them every year. And this year, sadly, she's passed away only a few weeks before. The grandma's passed away, and we all at the meeting and said, should we go to the pantomime? And they decided that that's what she would have wanted. They came to the pantomime. She said, and we didn't know how it would feel. And so there's 12 of us with an empty seat in the middle.
Oh, wow.
Where she was, and where she should have been. And she said, we just laughed, and we knew it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And thank you, Billy, and all that,
Oh,
I mean,
that means a lot, doesn't it?
yes, it's not just a job, is it?
No, because you got paid a bit extra for someone that weren't there as well. So it's always a bonus. No, that's a lovely sentiment, isn't it? What a lovely story. And sorry I joked about it, but it's...
No, it's not right.
It's
Not to have a laugh.
No, you do. We need it in these times, and people will love this talk that we've had. So, Billy, thank you so much for your time. Lots of love to your family.
And you, mate. Love, and thank you very much for your patience and inviting me on, love, and I wish you all the very best.
No, thank you. I can't wait for your book, by the way. This is a great time to do it.
I know.
Let's see the Billy Pearce biography. It
I
can't.
hope I live long enough. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. Do you know what I mean? I'm 69 now.
You're not, right? Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know, but
I'm still having sex at 69, and I only live at 50.
please look after yourself. Do what you do, because we miss you. Yeah, I'd love to see you live again.
Bless you, mate.
Amazing.
No, bless you.
Thank you so much, Billy.
All right, mate. All right. Good luck.
Bye.
Cheers, Steve.
Eyes and teeth. Thank you to the brilliant Mr. Billy Pearce. Always enjoy watching Billy, whether he was on the Children's Royal Variety shows or guesting on the summertime specials. These are the days we really, really do miss, isn't it? I'd love to see all these back again. Wonderful stories. And you can tell towards the end of the interview that Billy just wanted to perform. He was just making me laugh, gag after gag. And you can tell it's in our blood. We just need to get back to stage now. I think that's enough. Thanks so much to Billy Pearce. If you want to catch up with Billy, you can check out his website, www.billypearce.com, and you can order his DVD and a signed photo. Today's comedy quote comes from water rat Les Dawson. Mind you, I've always been musical. Mother used to sit me on her knee and I'd whisper, "Mummy, mummy, sing me a lullaby, do." And she'd say, "Certainly, my angel, my wee bundle of happiness, hold my beer while I fetch me banjo." Eyes and Teeth is written, produced and hosted by Steve Hewlett. Vocals provided by Larissa, Lola and Nina Hewlett. Special guest vocals by Rich T. Eyes and Teeth music and jingles are produced and performed by Kevin Dean. He teaches the guitar, you know, the plucking and stuff. Listen in next time when I'll be talking to another brother water rat, the wonderful Mr. Mike Doyle.